At last, Robyn Brown is revealing the most sinister facets of her sister wives' experience. Her $1.7 million Flagstaff home wasn't as lovely as viewers would have thought, she recently recalled. The celebrity said she was having a hard time recovering from a severe depression. That's not all, though. At last, Robyn is speaking out about all the factors that contributed to her predicament. She described how she was making a concerted effort to cope with the familial dynamics that were making matters worse. Is this accurate? What is the point of this? What had she disclosed? The tea is pretty hot, so continue reading to find out more about this controversy. Kody and Robyn Brown didn't actually talk to Christine Woolley about their intentions to sell their house in Flagstaff. The latter recently admitted to the cameras that she first stumbled over the story online from a random source. Kody may have a lot of hard memories in that house, the Sister Wives star said. It seems that he witnessed the departure of 3 wives and dealt with 3 splits. I think it's a good idea for him to move, Christine continued. Go ahead and finish that. She thinks that Kody would be better off closing that door and beginning a new life with Robyn Brown. When she broke up with Kody in 2021, Christine followed suit. She merely sold her home and moved on with David Woolley in search of a fresh start and a better life. Robyn Brown, star of Sister Wives, is now talking about all the things she went through and experienced in her Flagstaff home. She described how she was ready to start over and rebuild her life because the new house was a fresh beginning for her. I see a lot of future there, which is really great, the celebrity continued. Robyn reportedly admitted to having a deep depression while they were residing in Flagstaff. Robyn clarified that all of the divorces and splits were taking place directly in front of her. Every split happened when we were living in this house, she continued. The celebrity feels that her family would leave a lot of pain and hard memories behind if they left this residence. I also believe that the space itself will be extremely conducive to some of the things that we want to do with our future, Robyn continued. However, the same story applies to Kody as well. Additionally, he believes he had to cope with a string of sad events in the house. Kody revealed how, while in the house, he started to disband his family and even contracted COVID. Christine continued to distance herself from him, and their nasty Christmas further soured relations. Since his family was no longer spending Christmas together, Kody was quite disappointed. What are your thoughts? Please share your thoughts in the comments area. Robyn Brown has long been portrayed to Sister Wives fans as Kody Brown's emotional rock, the one wife who appeared to have it all together as the rest of the multiple family fell apart. However, beneath the serene exterior and the opulence of her $1.7 million Flagstaff residence, Robyn concealed a reality that even the cameras were never able to properly portray. In a devastating and frank admission, Robyn has now shared what actually transpired following the breakdown of the family and the reasons behind her depressive episode, which left her feeling hopeless, alone, and doubting all of her previous beliefs regarding faith, love, and family. The Browns had one simple dream when they left Las Vegas and relocated to Flagstaff, Arizona, a fresh start. A new beginning in the Highlands, where the air was pure, and the family could mend the damage caused by emotional distance, jealousy, and celebrity. Kody and Robyn discovered a gorgeous $1.7 million, 6-bedroom house tucked away in the forest. It felt like utopia, with expansive living areas, privacy that none of the sister wives had experienced previously, and stunning vistas of the San Francisco peaks. Robyn's life appeared ideal to Sister Wives viewers, with a contented marriage, lovely kids, and a husband who obviously loved her. However, she now acknowledges that the reality was quite different. In a recent confessional for Sister Wives, Life After the Split, Robyn said, "Everyone thought I was living this dream life, but I was collapsing on the inside. The house seemed too large, too silent, and too filled with memories that were no longer even mine." Her anguish was imprisoned in the very house that was supposed to represent stability. Robyn became the final surviving wife after Christine, Janelle, and Meri departed the family, a role that did not sit well with her. Fans and even some of her own relatives have referred to her as the favorite, the legal wife, and the homewrecker for years. However, the truth struck her like a wave when the dust settled and the plural marriage fell apart. "I didn't win anything," she remarked with tears in her eyes. "3 of my sisters passed away. I lost the family I had envisioned. I used to pray for harmony rather than loneliness. However, that's what I ultimately received. Kody and I alone." Insiders claim that Robyn's emotional collapse started shortly after Janelle and Kody's acrimonious breakup. She had been exhausted by the disputes between Kody and his other wives, and the family's tension had reached a breaking point. She made several attempts to mediate and act as the peacemaker, but all of them failed. She remembered, no matter what I said, someone was upset with me. I felt as though I couldn't breathe without being held accountable by someone. Despite its beauty, the Flagstaff house came to represent loneliness. The nights were frighteningly quiet, but during the day the children filled it with laughing. Robyn was left alone with her thoughts as Kody frequently withdrew to his office or the backyard to reflect. On certain evenings, she admitted, I would just sit in the living room and stare out the window. Even though I could see the stars and the mountains, I still felt totally alone. The house itself, an architectural wonder featuring vaulted ceilings, a huge stone fireplace, and expansive windows that look out over acres of countryside, has become notorious among enthusiasts. However, Robyn claims that beauty was unable to satisfy the inner emotional need. She remarked quietly, every room reminded me of someone who wasn't there anymore. Meri always added excitement to the space. Janelle adored organizing dinners, and Christine used to decorate for family gatherings. There is now only stillness. Robyn found herself the object of viewers' ire when sister wives started chronicling the disintegration of the Brown family. Social media erupted with condemnation, accusing her of being domineering, self-centered, and manipulative. The change was heartbreaking to someone who had previously seen the show as a means of sharing their faith and love story. I used to cry when I read comments on the internet, Robyn said. I got what I wanted, people said. However, they were blind to the insomnia, panic attacks, and therapy sessions. Being the final wife was not what I wanted. I desired a working family. Robyn started to distance herself from the cameras as the show went on, demanding fewer interviews and fewer on-screen appearances. She apparently became so anxious that she avoided going out in public and depended on close friends to perform errands for her. Her kids even took note. According to reports, one of her children informed a producer, Mom doesn't smile as much anymore. Kody continued to be protective of Robyn, but he was frequently emotionally unavailable due to his own loss and rage. He was grieving for his ties with his older children, particularly those who had supported Christine and Janelle, as well as the loss of his spiritual group and poly lifestyle. I didn't know how to be a husband to one woman, Kody once acknowledged. I was raised on plural marriage my entire life. I was no longer sure of who I was after that. Despite being sincere, such admission just made Robyn's suffering worse. It was painful, she said. I desired to be sufficient for him. I still do. But as he said that, I understood that he was mourning for something I would never be able to provide for him. The family we lost. They were silent for a while because of the stress. Robyn emotionally retreated, devoting hours to prayer or journaling. In response, Kody started spending a lot of time outside, either sitting in his truck with the radio off or strolling around the property. One close family acquaintance claims that Robyn's sadness peaked in late 2024. Once a time for riot and laughter, the holidays were intolerable. According to the source, she couldn't bring herself to decorate. The children noticed that the house was quiet, and even Kody was clueless about how to make it better. Robyn reportedly fell down during a therapy session, confessing that she had lost her sense of purpose, in a tragic incident that fans have not yet seen on film. She told her therapist, I centered my entire existence on being a part of something greater. However, I'm not sure where I belong now. I am no longer a sister wife. All I am is a wife. Furthermore, I'm not even sure if I'm skilled at that. She admitted that she felt bad about being the one who stayed, as though everyone else's happiness had been sacrificed for her stability. It's similar to survivor's guilt, she cried. None of this was something I requested. I didn't want to be held responsible for severing the family. All I wanted was love. Before Robyn started to feel like herself again, months of family time, prayer, and therapy were required. She attributes her ability to overcome the gloom to her kids, particularly Dayton and Aurora. She said, when I cried, they would sit with me. They served as a reminder that I wasn't by myself, because although our family altered, it remained the same. Additionally, Kody made an attempt to get back in touch by organizing small family meals and inviting Robyn to participate in their favorite pastimes, which included cooking, hiking, and late-night card games. Everything had to be rebuilt from the ground up, she stated. We're learning how to be a couple once more, not a reality show, not a multiple marriage, but two individuals attempting to love one another despite the chaos. Robyn claims that she at last started to feel hopeful by the beginning of 2025. The house was filled with laughing again. She began to help others deal with emotional stress by gardening, redecorating, and even volunteering at a nearby women's shelter. Robyn has been one of the most divisive characters on Sister Wives for many years. However, she is speaking her truth in this new phase of her life and is no longer attempting to influence others' opinions. Realizing that perhaps they had to go in order to find their own peace was more difficult than losing them, she continued. Perhaps that is also a part of God's purpose for us. Though still complex, Robyn and Kody's connection is stronger than it has been in a long time. According to insiders, they have begun talking about smaller undertakings, such as organizing family get-togethers, penning a book on healing, and even thinking about moving when their children are grown. Robyn is realistic, though. She declared, "We will never return to our former selves." But perhaps that's all right. Perhaps this is who we should be right now. Two flawed individuals looking for harmony in a world that witnessed our chaos. For his part, Kody has openly endorsed her recovery. "I was saved by Robyn," he said to the producers. "Even when I didn't deserve it, she has been my pillar of support. I'm also responsible if she fell into the dark. However, I applaud her for battling her way out." Robyn Brown's confession provides fresh insight into the human cost of a failing plural family for a lady who was once referred to as the villain of Sister Wives. Behind the opulent exterior of a $1.7 million home, there lurked anguish, remorse, and loneliness that neither wealth nor luxury could resolve. Nevertheless, Robyn learned a valuable lesson from the suffering. Embracing the past and choosing love in spite of it is what brings healing, not clinging to the past. One sunrise, one prayer, and one breath at a time, Robyn Brown has begun to regain her calm in the middle of Flagstaff, behind those tall glass windows and peaceful pine trees.